and welcome to another exciting episode of Cafecito for Two. If this is your first time watching us here, you just happen to bump into us on Facebook or our YouTube channel. My name is Javier Cristina. This is my lovely wife, Christina, and we are the co-authors. Well, both are authors of Boundless Love, Healing Your Marriage Before It Begins. And out of that, we have Boundless Love, which is our nonprofit ministry that we create life-changing marriages. And out of that, we came out with Cafecito for Two to combat COVID-19.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
I know, it was so funny. I was looking at the intro there and I was looking at my husband's hair and I'm like, oh, that's some serious COVID hair. That was like pre-haircuts. But now we're in a different era of COVID. Not that you didn't look beautiful, don't worry. But I'm just saying, it just reminds us because this was really our baby born out of COVID.
That's right. But you can definitely, if you're curious, right, about my hairstyle, because I have many throughout this.
I love it.
Many throughout this 32 episodes. You can always go back, right?
Yeah.
In our YouTube.
See the evolution.
That's right. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and then hit the notification. And then you will have
the whole history.
The whole history.
That's right.
Of the haircut.
Beautiful.
Because I did use, I think it was number 3 or number 2, and that did surprise my daughters.
Yes, he did. He did give himself a haircut. Yes,
it was nice. So if you're interested about that, if you don't care about creating life-changing marriages or dating or being healthy,
there you go.
As a single person,
it's all good.
It's all good. Just watch my haircut. And today, just following our previous episode, we are very grateful because we're talking in a topic that, when I was reading about the guest that Christina's about to announce, one of the things that I remember asking Christina, and this is in our book, is I asked her, do you bring any luggage into the relationship?
Yeah, this is on our first date, everyone.
That's
so
right.
Yes, this is part of his interview.
Yeah, because I was very curious to know if she was going to bring emotional baggage to the relationship. And what she did, she was really smart because she turned the question to me.
Yes. You just flip it. I mean, I answered, but you flip it. So it was good.
Right.
It was good.
Right.
Yes. So I am thrilled to introduce Johannes Atlas. He's going to come on in a sec. He will be speaking to the you and you, which I think is so awesome. He's a motivational speaker. He's really a leader in terms of freeing ourselves from emotional baggage. And he's from SoCal. We're NorCal. So I just feel like we're neighbors, but I am so happy that he's making the time today to be on our show. So hi and welcome.
Hello, welcome to Cafecito for Two. How was the M&M? Always, you gotta tell the guests so they can, they will sign up and come to Cafecito for Two because we have the best M&Ms on our
VIP. Is a good sport.
Yes, our VIP room. So welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. You guys have such a good spirit about you. You guys are so funny. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me on here.
Well, it's just probably because we're, this is like in the evening and we're already a little punchy because we get up way early. So excuse us if we get a little nutty here.
Hey,
so
right. I'll meet you there.
I would really love to hear about sort of your definition. If we could start about like how you define emotional baggage, because I think we have a similar idea, but I want to make sure we're on the same page because I think it's such a key, from my understanding, it's such a key part of life, right? To understand fully what it entails. And I know, you have a lot of amazing insight and profound life experience around it. So we'd love to just learn from you and hear what your take is on that to start. Aside, of course, your intro and your story and all of that.
Mm-hmm. So I guess I'll give a little backstory to my emotional baggage at the time. So I was born with Poland syndrome. So you can see the difference in my hand here. If anybody's listening on, only on audio, my right hand can literally fit in the palm of my left hand. And I don't have any chest muscle on the right side of my body. So, of course, I wasn't very conscious about my hand until about high school. And so, of course, because, in high school, everybody wants to fit in and be cool. And so because I wanted to fit in and be cool, I hid my hand in my pocket all the time. And I mean, when I say all the time, I mean all the time. And so, I mean, just, between that wanting to fit in and, for being teased and being made fun of, my hand was constantly in my pocket. And so when I had ended up making those, so I mean, years later, I mean, it wasn't until, this is in, October of 2020, wasn't until about May that God had opened my eyes up to the fact of what I made those events mean about me was that I'm not enough.
Right.
And so my baggage was, I'm not enough. It's in a sense, like the negative, it's in the baggage. It's almost like, in a sense, the negatives and how we identify ourselves from something that's happened in the past.
Yeah.
So it's I kind of like think of it as, me holding actual baggage, and the baggage is labeled, I'm not enough. And I'm showing people, hey, I'm not enough. I'm not enough. In just various little ways, we it's just in how we connect with people. There's just little nuances that we do from the identification that we have put on with ourselves.
Yeah.
Wow, that's profound.
Yes.
Yeah, and we all can relate to that at some level, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and now that I've done a lot of healing myself as a child, a lot of wounds out there, but yeah, a lot of psychological damage when people start calling you names and you take that and then you kind of label yourself and you say, okay, I'm as immigrant here. I mean, the first thing the kids do, they make fun of you because either you pronounce things a different way or you behave a different way, and then you're like, oh, I guess I'm not good enough. I don't speak well, or I'm never gonna be a public speaker, and you carry that throughout your life, right?
Right.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
was that a turning point for you, Johannes, or how did that all how did you really synthesize all this? Or was it just like an event, or did you just kind of come to it?
The defining moment was because, so after I graduated high school, I wanted to grow as a person because it literally felt like a prison. I mean, when I say all the time, my hand was always in my pocket, unless I was doing something where I didn't need two hands. My hand was in my pocket all the time. And so, throughout, after high school, I did things I wanted to grow. And so like, I slowly, got out of the habit of it, of hiding my hand, but there's still that little part of me that there was that little piece of insecurity still there. And so it wasn't until, like I said, in May, I was just at a point where I was just kind of really, in a sense, like feeling stuck. And so I prayed, I'm like, God, open my eyes up to me beyond the limitations of my understanding. And boy, did I get what I prayed for. But
that's what happened.
Yeah, you gotta be careful what you ask for sometimes.
That's right.
But and so, like I said, I prayed. I'm like, Lord, open my eyes up to me beyond the limitations of my understanding. And because I was ready for the answer, I mean, I would say within a week and a half to 2 weeks, God had opened up my eyes to all of that. I mean, He opened up to my eyes, or He opened my eyes up to the fact of going back to those times where, like I said, where I got teased and I got made fun of. It was what I had made those events mean about me that had affected me so much. And that was it. It was what I had made the event mean. Because when you look at the event, so to look at it from a camera point of view, to see me getting teased or something, none of that means that I'm not enough. Literally, nothing in that kind of view means that I'm not enough. But that was what I had interpreted to mean. And so I then put on that identity. And so it was the switching point. Like I said, He opened my eyes to that. And so at that point, I then reaffirmed the opposite. And I said, no, I am enough. Who I am as a person, I am enough. And it was, really believing that and feeling that and really just kind of making peace with my past. And that was literally the defining moment. And I mean, since then, I mean, it hasn't really been an issue. I would say so during the summer was the first time I've ever, swam with my shirt off. I went to the beach and I took my shirt off, and it wasn't a big deal.
Wow. Yeah. And this is something that, I mean, wow, it just seems like it totally transformed every aspect of your life.
Definitely.
Really?
Definitely. I mean, and just how I present myself and not even just how I present myself, but how I feel about myself when I'm in the presence of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I think it's a beautiful prayer, right? What you ask for,
very.
right? Kind of asking for a comprehension beyond your what we understand as humans, right? That's beautiful. When do you kind of obviously you for me was like, hey, I can no longer go through this. I need to break away from this because this is stopping me from me to go there. I felt very, very angry at myself for say, hey, you keep leveling yourself. When did you feel like you needed to pray and kind of break away from this? What was an event or something that triggered that for you to say, okay, this is it, man. I gotta go. I gotta do this.
It was a point where I was just in a sense just kind of feeling stuck, just in where I was within my growth. I didn't feel like I'm like just kind of wondering. I'm like, why is it, I'm been like kind of wondering. I'm like, what's going on? Like, why am I not, progressing or becoming a better person? There was a level of just kind of stuckness. And so, I mean, just from that, it was just the desire to want to be aware. It was just the desire to want to grow. And I mean, that's kind of where it all, where everything starts is, if we're wanting to, grow or, get rid of an issue or whatever it is, it just starts with the desire to want to be aware of it. And I mean, that's honestly, that's the main thing is you have to have the desire. Like we have to want it I wanted it for myself. And when I said why I feel like why God answered my prayer so quickly was because I was ready. And that's the other thing. It's like when we ask for something, it's like, are we really ready for what we're asking for? And I mean, that was the thing. Like I said, I felt like I was ready for it. I was, aware that, I was stuck, and I'm like, I'm aware that, there's something going on. And like I said, I want to grow from there.
Yeah, I think that's so true. Is like when we go to God with a prayer, how open is our heart really to receive it, right? And so what I'm hearing from you so much is like that transformational growth is so ushered in by being trusting and also, like you said, cultivating that willingness, cultivating that readiness of heart and mind and soul, all of it, because that's what lets him work through us, right? Like
exactly.
And it sounds like your life has really shifted big time.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's kind of like, so I mean, like you were just saying, in being ready, I kind of reference it to like, for a parent that has a kid, let's say your kid is like 18 years old, would you give your 18-year-old $1 million? Ideal, let's say your 18-year-old is a typical 18-year-old.
Right.
Would you give your 18-year-old $1 million? Like, no, that's gonna ruin them.
I take it for me.
That would be a big no. We can barely manage our allowances in this house, so absolutely not.
Right. And so exactly that. And so it's like, the child is the 18-year-old is not ready to receive it. And so in the same thing, it's like some of the things that we pray about, are we really ready to receive? And it's like, because we're not ready to receive it, that's why, God's not, we're wondering, God, why aren't you answering my prayers? And I've been wondering and I'm praying and all this stuff. Well, it's like, are you really ready to receive it? And it's opened me up to, being more, the desire, just being more aware of myself, being more aware of, what's going on the inside and, why am I feeling the way I'm feeling and what's, causing these emotions. And it's made me a lot more aware of things.
Do you feel that self-awareness is the key to releasing emotional baggage?
Oh, definitely. Because that's where it starts. I mean, because it comes down to, so when we go home and we lay down and we're by ourselves, or you're laying down and you're just, all those thoughts and those feelings are just coming up, and it's those feelings and those emotions that we don't talk about on an everyday basis. It's the desire to want to, we have to deal with that at the end of the day. I have to deal with that. Every individual, they have to deal with that on their own, by themselves, because they're at home. Assuming you're at home by yourself, you have to deal with that by yourself at the end of the day. And so it's being aware of all of that, and then asking yourself, like I said, why am I feeling like this? What's causing me to feel this way?
Right.
And because it's like too often we suppress all those the negative emotions and all the negative experiences of our past, and it's because we suppress it so much, it manifests itself in another way sometime down the line. And so, like I said, in just being aware of it, it starts to open up that space for God to give us that answer of why am I feeling like this, what's going on. But then, like I said, it's just being aware of it, but then asking yourself and genuinely and being ready for the answer, genuinely being, having a desire to want to know, why am I feeling like this? What's causing me to feel this way? Because I don't like that I feel this way. I don't like this. I don't enjoy this feeling. And so why am I feeling like this? And so in genuinely being open to the answer and whatever it can be, eventually the answer will come.
Absolutely. I'm curious to know, because your story, I know is touching a lot of people, and you inspire so many people. When you made that change, and like you say, okay, I just decided to, to be myself and go out there and say, hey, you're accepting yourself the way you are, you're loving yourself the way you are. But at the same time, since you were, you grew up, kind of limiting yourself in a way, how the people around you, because it seems like the people that love you, right, they always want to protect you, right? So when you make that drastic change of saying, I am going to move forward and conquer this, right? How was it for you around the people that really care about you? They were really, cheering you on and say, hey, we're fully going to support you? Or they were like, oh my God, what are you doing? You're going to get more hurt than before.
The funny part is, once I made the change, it's not like people, I will say some people, some people did notice a little bit of a difference as far as, me having my hand in my pocket as much or not as much, but it was more of an issue to me. Because people don't remember how I was saying about the baggage. People don't see that I'm carrying the baggage. But
right.
It comes out
it's invisible.
Yeah,
exactly. It comes out in my words, because out of the mouth speaks the abundance of the heart. And so, like I said, because people don't see me carrying this baggage, it was me finally being able to put it down, and it just lifted. It was all this weight that I no longer had to carry.
Wow.
And so it wasn't a matter of people noticing a change, but it was a matter of the change in me, the change that I felt inside of me. That was the big thing, because people don't really. It's like people aren't really thinking about us like how much we think they are.
I know, they're in their own baggage. They're carrying their own baggage, right? It's like I always say that to people when you go to the gym, or you used to go to the gym, and everyone's like, "Oh, I feel so self-conscious." I'm like, "Don't worry." They're all tripping out about their bodies right now. You know what I mean? Like everyone's in their own little world. So in their story, in their headspace. So I'm curious, why do you think people carry emotional baggage?
So I would say it starts with, okay, let me, just God's giving me like just various analogies and things. Okay, so let me say this. So life is kind of like, so let's say you have no idea what a grocery store is like. You don't know what to do. You just totally oblivious to what a grocery store is and how it works. And so life is like going into a grocery store for your very first time.
Okay.
And you walk in, and immediately people start giving you instructions and giving you directions and telling you what to do. And you might ask a couple questions. You might ask them, somebody working there, hey, how's this work? What do I do? But you grab a shopping cart and you start walking around, and people immediately they just start putting stuff in your basket, and oh, this you should buy this and take this, and you might go pick out a couple things that you like, but most of the time people are just putting stuff in your basket and recommending stuff, and so at the end of your shopping experience, you go to the checkout counter and you have a basket full of stuff that you didn't ask for. You might, like I said, you might have a couple of things, but you didn't ask for it, and at the end of the day, you end up having to pay for it all.
Yeah.
And so
that's good.
And so you go home, and so we go home, and on the drive home, you're sitting there figuring out, okay, I have all the stuff. What am I going to do with this? How am I going to make this work? How am I going to combine everything? And so then you go home and, you start putting stuff everywhere. And I don't know what this is. And, I'm going to put this over here. And it's just all these things that people have given to us, that we've been given to through life, or that we think, not realizing that, we have the say so in it all. And so, the kind of whole idea of this, I'm like kind of making all this into a program. And so the idea of it all is that it gives us the idea, or it lets us know that, hey, we can go back into that grocery store and take back the things that we don't want and grab the things that we do want. So that way, when we go back to that checkout counter, we have a basket full of stuff that we want, and we pay for all the things that we want and not the things that life has been given to us. And so the essence of that is a lot of times we don't realize that, hey, I don't have to be like this. It doesn't have to be this way, because, in our emotions, for example, we have these emotions. They don't have us. We have them. And so we have control over all of our emotions. We control the emotions. They don't control us. We control them. Mm-hmm. And so in like the difference between choice and decision, so choice is picking something because you want it, and for no other reason but because that's what you want. And choice has no limitations. It has no considerations. It's picking something because that's what you want, for no reason but because that's what you want. There's a free will to choice, where decision, on the other hand, decision is picking something dependent upon what the situation is. It's picking a thing with considerations dependent upon the situation. And so there's limitations to it. And so it starts with, it's a lot of times it's because we don't realize that we have that free will. We have that choice. Right. That, and it kind of starts with, educating ourselves, but the thing is that we don't realize that we can go back into that grocery store, and that we can, make peace with some of the things that we're feeling with, and then some things that we're dealing with. I would say that's kind of like the main issue there.
That is such a powerful analogy, because I think about it like in terms of my own family, right? Like things like beliefs or thoughts, or even like mentalities about illness. You know what I mean? Like, well, in our family, this is what we get, or you know what I mean? Whatever it is. And it's just a thought pattern that's often a mentality or a mindset that's passed down. And so this image I have from what you said is going back to the grocery store, and it is a pain. Like, it is annoying to have to like return stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? But like, it's still worth it to do it. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, it may be sort of uncomfortable and be like, all right, I got to do this. But in the end, it's so worth it, because you're not loaded down with something you don't need anymore. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. And then
so
also,
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say, and then like also the other part too is because we've identified with some of these, some of these baggages for so long. Sometimes as people, we just have a hard time of letting go, because I've identified myself with this baggage for all these years, and you're like, now you're telling me I have to let go, and so it's like we're as people, we're uncomfortable with the unfamiliar. We like to stick to what we know, and it's because this is what I know, this is what I'm going to stick to, and so that's another part of it too.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Letting go of that grief period, right? Because obviously you're letting go of the old ways, and you need to replace it with new ones, and the new ones are unknown, right? Until you get to know the situation. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So inspiring. So how people can get involved with you? I know you do a lot of speaking out there. I mean, your story is so powerful. Tell us how can people get in touch with you and your programs, how you help individuals that are going through, they're stuck and they want to break away. Yeah.
So on Instagram, you can look me up. It's Joe Speaks, JO_Speaks. The program though, so I was initially gonna make it into a program and sell it, but I'm gonna give the program away for free. But it gets to a lot of detail and pretty much all the how to's and how to free ourselves of all that. But it's gonna be on YouTube. I'm planning on putting it out by the end of this year, so by beginning of next year should be readily available. But you can look at my name, Johannes Atlas, Johannesburg, like in South Africa. But yeah, you just look it up and it'll be on there the beginning of the new year.
Yeah, and we'll have your Instagram link and your YouTube channel link in these notes. That's so awesome because I think sometimes, what I feel like you do, Johannes, is you break it down in a very like accessible way for people. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like the way you just talked about it to me makes me think about like already I'm kind of like delving into myself. Like, what am I accepting in my life? Like, what do I need to let go of? Because I think it's very painful in the human condition. And I say this, as a believer too, it's very painful to go to God with the same prayer again and again. You know what I mean? Like, why aren't you listening to me? Like, and for me, a lot of that's been about like, well, what am I doing wrong? Like, how come I'm not deserving of this? Or, just like stuff like that. And I think when you kind of flip it on its head, what you're doing is you're saying, well, no, it doesn't really need to go that route. It doesn't need to you don't need to make it mean that about you.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, exactly that. Because it's what we have made the event, the situation, the circumstance, our childhood, it's what we have made it mean about us that affects us in our everyday life. It's the interpretation we have put behind it. And when at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that. It doesn't have to mean what we've made it mean.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think you're inspiring so many people, and you're helping so many people, especially now during this strange and difficult times, right? That I think a lot of people are, instead of, they were doing this routine life, right? And now they're more at home, so they're getting more into their heads, right? And perhaps they're getting stuck in a situation that is not real, right? And I am sure that you're gonna touch many people to get unstuck and really let go of that baggage and obstacles. And one thing that I love from a man of faith to another brother in faith is the power of prayer, right? Because God is always there for you. It's like you say, it's how you pray, right? You can pray, hey, just make everything beautiful and giving me that $1 million, so you can say, hey, God, just help me, maybe get through this with your understanding of how things should be, right? And eventually it will pour. So
yeah
I just feel like sometimes I try to often give it to God and tell and ask him to put the right prayer on my heart, because I don't even trust my own judgment half the time. And I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. But what I'm saying is, it's like you need to take it, Lord, because I'm clearly not very successful with my thoughts. So let's lift it up.
Right. I'm like, Lord, I mean, I know where I'm trying to go with this. I'm not sure how to put this into words. Can you like help me with some understanding here? Because it's like, you see where I'm going? I need some help here.
Yes. And I wanted to ask you, what do you think is required of people to let go of their baggage? Is it, like you said, you need to be ready? Is there anything else that's required?
That's honestly the main thing. It's just the willingness. It's you have to be ready. We have to be ready for it. Because, well, I'm kind of going back to the child. The child has to be ready to handle $1 million. And so if we're not ready to handle the backstory, if we're not ready to handle like the source of, if we're not ready to handle our emotions and deal with all of that, then it's not going to happen. I mean, we have to be ready to deal with it. It's like when we're truly ready to deal with it, then it's like we can see it for what it is and not for what we think it is. And so honestly, that's what it comes down to is being ready, like having the desire to be ready and wanting to be ready, and just being aware of it all. Being aware of, like I said, how you're feeling, what you're feeling, being aware of your thoughts, of your emotions, and getting to the source of it all. It's just the willingness and the readiness of it all. That's honestly just what it is.
Excellent.
Beautiful.
Excellent.
Wow.
Well, we are so blessed to have you here at
Cafecito
for two and be part of Boundless Love. Very inspiring, and I just encourage everybody who is watching us to really share this, because I know there's people out there that your words, your inspiration, everything that you do is going to be very beneficial for them. So please share, you know, and really, we're going to put all the descriptions, notes in our episodes, so people can contact you and really be ready when that YouTube course come out.
Yeah,
so
it sounds awesome, Johannes. It sounds really awesome. We'll be following too, because I'm ready to sign up. I'm going.
Hey, thank you guys. I really do appreciate your time here.
It's a never-ending journey in life, right? We never stop growing. That's what I love about this, right?
Yeah,
and so this is like so beautiful.
Right. No, I look at, you know, you look at the scripture, I press toward the mark of the high calling of Jesus Christ. That scripture applies when you're 17 as much as it does when you're 75. So it's a continual pressing. I don't feel like there's ever I reached it, I made it, I'm here. You know, there's always a next level. But yeah, I do appreciate you guys. You know, allow me to be on your show here. You guys are amazing people, and I really do appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
Our pleasure.
Thank you so much. You're welcome anytime, and you know, you always
to debut the course.
Absolutely, let us know. Happy to have you again. And for everybody that's watching us, like
Johannes Atlas.
That's right. And please share. If you're watching us through YouTube, please subscribe to our channel, and also hit the reminder button.
Yeah, hit that. Hit that.
And we will see you next time. We have a lot of good stuff coming up. And if you want to follow us, this is our Facebook page and our YouTube channel, and we will see you next time.
God